Howdy everyone, I'm Corey with Art's Really Cool. Today we're going to do a painting for my dad. As you can see, I'm in a different getup than normal. This is actually his work shirt. We lost him in 2019 and this was one of the things I kept from him. The reason I decided to wear it is because he was a paint supervisor for, we can't say their name, they didn't sponsor us, but an auto parts store that is nationwide. He worked in that job for 40 years. I think it was like 41 when he passed away. He loved what he did. I don't know how one person does the same thing for that long without loving it, but he did it. So anyways, I am doing a painting, like I said, inspired by him. He was an amazing figure in my life. When I was younger, he didn't want kids as much, so he was a little not cold, but not as warm. He was the disciplinary. He was the one that tried to keep things in line. But one of the things I remember was that he never, for me, that I can remember, missed any of my little activities that I did as a child. Baseball game, concert, play, whatever it was, wherever it was, whenever it was, he made sure to be there. And that is super meaningful to me, just because it showed how much he actually cared about his kids, regardless of whether he was wanting them necessarily in the beginning. He had them, and so I'm the youngest, so he had already had kids for 7 years at that point. He did a great job, and as we got older, we got closer. I remember when I was younger, though, they got me this. I collected, I've talked about it in one video. I collected elephants growing up because I needed a collection. Everybody else was collecting things and I didn't have a collection, and so I decided to collect glass elephants. That's a whole different story, but once you decide to collect something, that's what everybody gives you for every holiday, birthday, whatever. You get a gift, it's that. It's no longer a surprise. So I got elephants all the time, and my parents got me this stuffed elephant that is probably about this big. And I named it Ellie because I was super original when I was a child and creative. And it was my favorite thing. I still have it. It's upstairs next to my bed. I did when I was younger. Ironically enough, I got one this morning. But I used to get nosebleeds a lot when I was younger, and it would happen at night too. And I would sleep with Ellie, and I got a nosebleed that night, and Ellie was covered. It looked like Ellie had been murdered. It was really bad. And my parents were like, well, we can't keep him. We have to throw it away. It's covered in blood. It was really bad. And I bawled. I was so upset. I was distraught. I couldn't live without this elephant. They were settled on tossing it. And then my dad, after I essentially just threw a fit, but really I was having an emotional breakdown. My dad took the elephant and put it in the sink, which was not big enough for it, and hand washed it. You can't tell that there was any blood on it. I don't know how he got the blood stains out, because that's not easy to do. Makes me wonder if maybe he also committed crimes. He's just really good at cleaning them up. I don't know. But it was a really touching moment that I think back on. I got a couple other stories that I will tell later on while I'm painting, but let's jump into the paints that I'm doing. My dad was a big Seahawks fan, the football team. If you don't know, I don't know who knows what. He loved them my whole life, would almost never miss a game on TV. In fact, towards the end of his life, my family all got together and we were able to take him to a game in person in Seattle, which is where his sister lived. So it was really kind of cool. I've got the colors here. I've got a navy-esque blue because the logo tends to be set on, at least from what I could tell from the pro shop. I was always wondering what the background was. It tends to be set on a navy blue background. And then I've got the green. There's a little bit of a lime green in the logo. And then so that there's some contrast, I've got a metallic blue to tie in because there's more navy in the logo, but I wanted a little bit of contrast. And then I've got a basic white, and to add a little bit of life, I'm going to bring in a silver rather than a gray. I think there's some gray on the logo. So all of these will participate in what I'm going to do, which is a Dutch pour, which we've done before. In fact, that painting was done in the idea of it. I used my breath on this one. I'll use a hairdryer on the one I'm making for my dad. I'll puddle it up and you'll see what I'm going to do with it. It's one of my favorite styles of fluid art or acrylic pouring. The way that it just makes kind of like wispy edges, and it just looks, it gives a lot of life to the painting. So let's go ahead, and with the magic of editing, I'm going to be standing. All right, I'm going to do this on a 16 by 20 inch canvas. So let's just get started. If we could pour all of this over here. I made this paint last night, so I may still have to torch it after this so that I can get the air bubbles out. But let's see if that is enough to blow around pretty much all of it. I'm gonna stretch it a little bit before I use the hairdryer to blow it off to the edges. Torch it. You can see the air bubbles. So many air bubbles. A lot of air bubbles. I think it's all air bubbles. I'm going to use the hairdryer to spread this out all the way, get it off the edges, but I'm just stretching it a little first. And while this looks like multi-tonal paint, it'll dry all one color. All right, I'll be back in just a second. All right, I'm gonna give it a quick little tilt again just to level it out. All right, wipe off my hands. This alone looks pretty good. I kind of like it. I think I'm not gonna paint. I think I'm just gonna leave this.
Done.
Let me torch it one more time. All right, so now I'm gonna puddle it up. As it's called, I'm gonna make 3 separate puddles next to each other, and then I'll use the blow dryer and kind of cover them up. So let's start with a white base. And 2 of them, and a silver base. No, I want silver as a highlight. And green on the other. A little green. I didn't put the blue down first because it would blend a little too much, I think. So, funny story, when I was in high school, I saw in a magazine, I don't know what magazine or how I saw it, we didn't ever have magazines, but I saw in a magazine a picture of a shirt. This might upset some people, I don't know, but the shirt said, "You're just jealous that the voices talk to me." and I really wanted it. I thought it was hilarious. And I told my parents I want it really bad. My dad said no, and I threw a little fit again. Well, not really. Now I sound like a baby, but I didn't throw a fit. I was just... all I do is throw fits, it sounds like. But no, I didn't throw a fit. I was more like disappointed, and my dad said, well, I can make it for you. Because all it was a white shirt with black writing. The writing was really nice. It is blocky, but it was just simple writing. It wasn't anything extravagant. And so I didn't believe that he could do it. My dad had great handwriting. His handwriting was fantastic. And he said he'd do it, and he spent the morning before going to work, creating the shirt, and it looked amazing. And I still have it. I can't wear it anymore, but it is in my closet right now. Upstairs. I just found it recently, and I was like, oh, this is amazing. So, shout out to my dad and his handwriting. I actually have my dad's signature on... Oh, I got paint on my dad's paint shirt. I actually have my dad's signature on my arm because he had the coolest signature. Both my brother and I loved it. But all right, anyways, I added the silver just strands over it because it'll just add little pops. I didn't want a big bubble of it. So let's blow this out. What I'm going to do first is blow it all kind of down, and then I'll blow it out a little bit. And hopefully this looks cool. All right. I think I like it. This big blue section, let me add a little bit more. There we go. So it is almost exactly what I was hoping for. So you can see these sections like this and this, these little spots that kind of look like cells. These are showing up because I use different brands of paint. I think I mentioned this in a previous video where the different brands will trigger basically a different reaction where the paints kind of almost like fight each other for dominance to see who gets to shine on the top. And so anytime you use metallic, those are typically ones that are gonna shine through a little bit more, not just because they have the metallic aspect, but because of what is used in it. But as you can see, I hope you see this, I get totally the vibe of the Seahawks. I really like this lime, and I like green, but lime is not my favorite version of green. But I really like this lime piece right here, even though I know the Seahawks has a little bit of green, not a lot. I think that looks really cool, and I love this corner up here where it shows it has all those little cells going off the edge. So yeah, I overall am pretty happy with this. All right, everybody, here is the dried version. Let's get a little closer and look at some of the spots I like the most. So in this corner, you can see some of the little cells already right there, and this is just kind of a boring corner. So as we go through, you can start to see things show up more. Down here, you can see some cracking. Sorry, I can't find my finger. You can see some cracking that appeared, and it's because of the The silver paint, I had left it outside and I think it got a little too cold, so that's on me, but it still looks cool. It gives it a little extra texture and a little extra design. But you can see the rest of this corner. This has got all the cells that I really liked earlier. We'll come down. Here's the beautiful green pieces that just stands out beautifully, even though I'm not the biggest fan of lime green. I love it in this painting. And then we're coming up on my favorite part, which is right here. This right here, it looks like a little heart. It looks like a little heart with a crown on it to me, if you turn sideways, of course. But I really like that. I think that's pretty cool. And then here's the rest of it. Alright. Okay, so that is the painting. Hopefully you guys like it. And we will see you in the next one. Bye!